How did your high school crush turn out as an adult? I married her best friend. No joke. The things people do to make their crush jealous. That's how you show dominance. Power move. Right there. We graduated from HS in 1989, but went off to different universities. Looked her up about 10 years ago and unfortunately she had passed away from cancer. Still think about her. A breakups after HS because of different university plans. A tale as old as time. Actually, they are as old as universities. r/technical literature. She went to Korea to teach English after college. Met a man from London. They're married and have a kid in London. He seems nice. She's still a great photographer. Quite a few girls in my HS class did this as well. Not American. Especially places like Vietnam, Hong Kong. Some of them are still there 15 years later. I don't know how though. English was taken as a second language in my school. We were dual instruction. But hell if I know how some of them got the jobs. I pity those kids who will learn a bastardized version of English. You meant dual, right? Or maybe you guys are still teaching students dueling techniques. It's just a very aggressive debate club. It was fun. Until an idiot forgot to close his helmet and lost eye. It's always just that one kid who had to go and tell his mother he was blind in one eye. To spoil it for the rest of us. She moved to France and became a fairly successful MMA fighter. Is her name Frances Ngan now? Mabe. Always wondered what happened to Francesca. That would be some next level hormone replacement. She started dating right out of high school and quickly got married. Has kids. Successful family. Seems nice. I'm on Reddit. So you know my story didn't go that well. I'm on Reddit. So you know my story didn't go that well. Made me snork. Edit. More good at punctuation. Outside of my high school friend group. This is the only other instance of gooder I've seen. I regret I can only upvote once. Well, mine was my biology teacher. She's still happily married and still looks hot. I work at my high school now. My physics teacher is still beautiful and still married. In the words of an ex-crackhead and pill addict I was friends with married. Well yes I have a goldfish, so the F does that matter. Puts it all in perspective. Joined the military, was in live combat, became legally insane then honorably discharged, was homeless for a while, and learned no one actually gives a ref about vets, and it's all marketing fluff. Started piecing his life together then accidentally got someone pregnant. He married her. She eventually cheated on them and they divorced. She kept going out and doing drugs, so he got custody of their toddler. He was sleeping on a mattress on the floor and going out in PJs looking ragged as hell. Also freaked out anytime certain triggers were introduced. We started playing D&D and I told him, just because he is crazy doesn't mean he has to look like it. I convinced him to start grooming again and wearing nice clothes when he goes out like he used to. Eventually he and his kid moved in with me so neither of them are sleeping on a mattress on the floor. Now we have 2 kids together in addition to his. He still has his moment when the triggers happen, but they are manageable. He has a routine and medication also got a lot of things that were causing him pain fixed which reduced the reaction to his triggers significantly. I also helped him out with VAS stuff because for some reason it seems specifically designed to be as difficult for mentally ill people as possible. I love you for this. I'm speechless. Thank you for helping him and congrats on your family. I love you for loving her for this. He moved to a different state, became a cop, and was later arrested for pocketing cocaine that was confiscated from traffic stops. He was one of a group of cops from that city that was involved in it. Not gonna lie, my crush ended shortly after reading about that. Oof. Well it's not like he could just go buy cocaine. That would be illegal. I mean what's he gonna do? Arrest himself? He was very successful for many years. Then he lost his job. No other offers were good enough for him. He had to sell the house because he was unemployed, and he moved his family into a smaller place. He started drinking heavily, then one night shot and killed his wife in a drunken argument while the kids cowered in the next room. I didn't miss much. Well that took a left turn. Hey, why you gotta drag left through the mud? Left ain't as sinister as everyone makes it out to be, and I'm tired of this durationist bullshit. It's because what he did wasn't right. Pretty sure she's addicted to Coke. A cola. Classic. New Coke. Crystal Pepsi. Gay, so that's why he wasn't interested in me. Well, maybe just one reason. Same. But straight. So that's why she wasn't interested in me. He's a successful Broadway actor and as dreamy, talented, and kind as ever. He's a good person and deserves good things. So I'm genuinely happy for him. We actually keep in touch, and when I'm in New York City he takes me backstage at his shows. When I'm in New York City he takes me backstage at his shows. Lucky girl. Oh they fucking. Oh they fwoiken. He got really into giant puppets that take like 10 people to move, tie-dye, and jam bands, and moved to Vermont, which is really the perfect place to pursue all of these interests. So Godspeed to him on living his best life. But it would be hard to imagine a guy that is more not what I want for myself. So glad it didn't work out. This is the second time I've heard Vermont has a big hippie culture. That's interesting because I know the East Coast tends to be expensive. Do they live on communes or shared living quarters? 45 years later. Married 35 plus years. 3 kids. 2 grandkids and next year we retire together in our version of paradise. So pretty good so far. This makes my heart smile. Wait, it shouldn't be able to do that. She dropped out of university after a bad breakup and initially got into drugs and a dead-end job. She also became insecure about her looks because of some of her boyfriends and went for plastic surgery a few times. Last I heard she moved to a whole new city to restart her life and go back to school to get a degree. Hope it works out for her. I hope she started a new life too. It will be tough though. Struggled with mental health issues, but managed to get a degree from Oxford University. After that she's did a range of low stress jobs in between stays in hospital. Last I heard she was working as a florist. Never married as far as I know. Definitely no kids. It's a shame. She was very clever, kind, funny and beautiful, and I always assumed she would end up famous or something. It's 40 years since I've seen her in person. But we exchange letters once or twice a year. Letters a lost art. Not great. He was smart in high school, which is why I liked him. I thought he'd have something going for him. He contacts me during quarantine. Surprise. Surprise. But it seems sketchy. We were catching up. He told me his GF, mother of his 2 kids, caught him cheating, so he had to move back in with his grandma. He also got fired and really isn't looking for a job. His ex kept his car and is making the payments. At that point he was just being annoying because he was pushy and hanging out, but he was just a big turn off now. We were talking about marriage and he's very opposed to it because a woman can take everything, according to him. After he said that I go, what do you possibly have that anyone would want? He got mad. Never heard from him again. Thank God. That's hilarious. Ha. I laughed. I dated the 3 guys in high school I had crushes on. One became successful in tech, happy, married with kids now. A bit boring but very nice. One is wanted by the FBI for defrauding investors with a fake company, among other things, and was last known to be somewhere in Asia, no lie. One became a puppeteer. /view 200D. I'm only still in touch with the first one. I could have called it on the fraudster. He was super charming, but extremely shady with a cruel streak. Even then. And we only lasted a few weeks. Trust your instincts. Even when young. That bunch sounds like they'd be a group forced together at the beginning of an apocalypse movie who end up bonding and later forming lifelong friendships. Tech dude is the brains. Fraud dude is the brawns. And puppeteer is clearly there for comedic relief. Lost touch with her in 1985. Found her again in 2009, just as I was divorcing my first wife. Life hadn't treated her kindly in the interim. Homelessness, abuse, drugs etc. Whereas my life has been okay mostly. We got together, married in 2013. Getting divorced now. Her life and mine have been too different. The differences were a good thing for a long time. But now we accept we are incompatible. I think we are both relieved. I redated the boyfriend I had when I was 17, when I was 37. We had both come out of marriages. It seemed like fate. Definitely was not. We broke up for the same reasons as when I was 17 SMDH. Lol, what was the reason? He pronounces it GIF. But that's what choosy moms choose. She turned out to be my cousin. At least it wasn't your sister. That makes it even more saddening. Well, one's a lesbian in finance, who last I heard was engaged. Another's a missionary who's married. And I sincerely hope the third is institutionalized. Backquote, lesbian in finance sounds like a 2000s sitcom pitch. Until I read this, I thought it said lesbian in France. Ooh la la. Backquote, ooh la lesbian. She's a teacher, married with kids, and living a short walk from her childhood home, which was just a short walk from my childhood home. I hope she's well, but I don't know. She's my closest friend. She's also an incredibly smart physicist, and someday I hope to tell her how I feel. Dear God, I sound like a teenager. Please do. Hopefully it's reciprocated. Then write a book about it and become famous so I can watch the movie adaptation of this. Might want to check and see if Nicholas Sparks hasn't written that book already. I'm sure there have been many, because there aren't too many details disclosed, but another true love story is another read, or 2 hours I spend comforted by predictability at 3 AM. My junior high crush still lives in our hometown, and has a DUI court date coming up. Oh, time for a meet cute at the courthouse. Fancy seeing you here. I know, right? Who knew loss prevention at Dollar General was so dedicated to their job? I think she's got kids in Florida. I dunno. You think she knows? She's waiting on the maternity test. Not well. I dodged a bullet. 25 years later. She literally looked the same as she did on graduation day. That bitch. Pregnant. Pregant. Pregnant. Perganent. Preganant. We're married with a kid. F-O-R-E.